What's up, everybody? We're back again for another video. As you saw in the last one, we checked the valve-to-valve clearance. Today we're going to try to work on seeing if we can't figure out what our piston-to-valve clearance is. I don't have all of the fancy tools to measure it, so we're going to do what we can with some clay. This is really soft stuff. The modeling clay they had seemed really stiff to me, so we're going to see how this works. I did a couple different sizes. I'm not really sure how much to actually use. Have not done this before, but we got the front of the motor all put together. I'm going to go ahead and throw my custom dowels that I have in here on, put my cylinder head on, and little tip for you guys, I see everyone, even on the big YouTube channels, putting cylinder heads on. Put your gasket and your head on first, then put your head studs through the top of your head. It's so much easier to put your cylinder head to take it on and off. Like, I don't know why you want to fight and damage the bottom of your cylinder head scratching it on the head studs. Makes no sense to me, but that's the way I'm going to do it. That's the way I do it, and that's the way we're going to do it. So anyways, I'm going to come back and we're going to have the gasket all ready, and I'm using this is the old gasket off of the engine that exploded. We're just going to clean some oil off of it. It's going to be the same crush thickness as the new gasket that I'm going to put on it eventually. So we're probably going to do this procedure a couple different times to see where's a safe limit for the degreeing of the cams, and then yeah, just go from there. So be back in a sec. Boom, and just like that, the cylinder head's on, the cams are in, the timing belt's on. Look at that YouTube magic. All right, so like before, we got VTEC locked. I did not mention this in the previous video, but the valve lash is set to 0, which is important for this procedure. I am thinking ahead of when I need to service the engine inside the car. Since I have this extra tensioner here, I set this loose enough but tight enough to where all I have to do is take this off to get the belt on and off. So if I need to pull ahead, I don't have to do anything inside the timing cover. I can just pop this off and get the belt on and off for head gasket replacements if need be in the future. So anyways, that's just a little idea that I had. So I'm trying to figure out a good starting point. I was reading online, so if you advance your intake cam, it is going to put the valve closer to the piston. If you retard the exhaust cam, it's going to put the valve closer to the piston. So what we're going to start out with is something that is safe on this chart still. So I have the intake at 0, and then I'm going to go -2 on the exhaust, which puts me in a spot that I don't want to land, but I also want to see how close the valve is to the piston at -2 on the exhaust. So I'm trying to do it kind of drastic so that I don't have to pull the head off and put the head back on 100 times. I'm trying to do it like 2 or 3 times at a max, and we'll see what this first measurement gives us, and then we'll change it and then see what we get after that. So yeah, this might be a multi-day kind of procedure. I'm just going to do this one rotation for now. I might try to shine a bore scope in the cylinder, see if I can't see anything. But other than that, oh, and another note, I do have oil on the underside of the valves so that the clay does not get stuck to the valve. Hopefully this doesn't get messy. Alright, piston's coming up. Valves are starting to open. intake valves hit it. I'm pretty sure the exhaust did as well. Let me do one more pass just to make sure. Alright, intake. Piston's coming up. Ooh, I feel that. Alright. Now we take it apart and see what the valve reliefs look like. Alright, here we go. Oh, look at that. Looks like we got plenty of room there. Alright, look at that. So we'll do a little cut job on that and then try to get us a good measurement. But it looks like there's a decent amount of clearance, and the valve appears to be pretty far away from the valve pocket. Ooh, the intake's a little close to that valve pocket though. I don't know how much closer I want to go. Oop, I'm not looking at what I'm looking at. So you can, it's hard to see the radius. Alright, this is difficult. It's hard to see where am I? Yeah, let me get a pointer. So you can see the radius of the outline of the valve on the intake right here, which is really close to the valve pocket. So that's pretty close. I don't think I want to go much more than 0 on the intake. Alright guys, here's a little better cutaway view. I am still kind of concerned with how close the end of the valve is to the valve pocket on the intake. That looks pretty scary. Looks like we got plenty of valve pocket on the exhaust side. Get you all a measurement real quick. We'll start with the exhaust. About right there. Sorry, the intake. Intake looks like it's 0.168 of an inch, which is a lot distance-wise. Let's see about the exhaust. This was a lot closer. So about right there. 86 thousandths. That seems pretty close. So I'm not sure exactly what this needs to be, but I think from what I've been told, it sounds like these are swapped. So this is way too close, and this is pretty far away. So not sure what I'm gonna do here. I might clean all this off. Well, I'm gonna clean all this off tonight because this stuff's already starting to harden. But I'm going to put some more clay in there tomorrow, and we're going to do this again, probably with some different valves, different degrees in the cams, to see if I can't get something safer. I'm going to reach out to a couple people and see what the measurements actually need to be. So definitely an interesting experience. Definitely recommend you guys check if you're doing this kind of stuff. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Alright guys, we got the clay reset in here, got the head back on, timing belt back on. I advanced the intake cam 2 degrees, so we're at +2 on the intake. We were at 0 before, so we're trying to get the intake valve closer. I want to see how that affects how close the tip of the valve gets to the valve pocket, because I am worried about that. The exhaust, we were really close at -2, so I advanced it 4 degrees, and we're at +2 now. So we're at +2 and +2. So this should theoretically take the valve really far away from the piston. So we're going to spin her over and see what she does. I'll come back to you once we get the head off. You've seen me spin it. So be right back. Alright everybody, we got this all cut up and measured. So this is at on the intake side at +2 degrees, and as you can see, the valve edge of the valve is almost touching the valve pocket right here. I mean, it's kind of hard to make out on video, but it is extremely close. So that is, I have plenty of clearance here. Hold on. Plenty of clearance here to the face of the piston. We're at 130 thousandths, but the fact that the edge of the valve is so close to the pocket, I have to back away from that. And then on the exhaust, we are at 110 thousandths on the exhaust, so I'm going to call that a safe zone. That is at +2 as well. So I've kind of modified my valve to valve chart and added piston to valve. So we're good clearance wise, but to the valve pocket I don't feel comfortable. So we're gonna draw a line down here, and we're gonna say everything from here over is a no-go. And then at the exhaust side, 2 degrees looks pretty solid. We might be able to get away with 1 degree, possibly 0, but -2 is probably a little too tight for our liking. So we're going to say that everything down here is out of the safe zone. So we are going to be looking to run the engine in this window right here. So we're probably going to have to start with -2 on the intake, and maybe 2 or 4 on the exhaust, and see how all that lines up once we go to degree the engine and figure out the center line of the cams and all that. So hopefully we land somewhere in here and the engine's happy and runs, and we can make power and it be healthy and happy. But this should be my safe zone right in here. And the measurements that I've been told, I've been told a couple different things, but what I'm gonna stick with is 0.100 inch on the exhaust is minimum, and then 0.0 inches on the intake is minimum. So 80 thousandths and 100 thousandths exhaust and intake is the minimum clearances that I'm looking at. You could probably squeeze a little bit less than this, but not really advisable, so I'll probably stay in the advanced 2 degrees range on the exhaust. But yeah, that's what we're coming up with the piston to valve clearance. I'm probably gonna switch the intake to +1. No, -1 to -1 or -2, one of these two. Actually, I'm gonna go to -1. I'm gonna clay the engine one more time at -1 and see how close the edge of the valve is to the pocket, just so I know for sure what my minimum degree I need to stay on or away from is going to be. So we'll do that one more time, and then we'll wrap this video up. Alright, so I got the cylinder head back on. It's coming here, I'll show you. We have the intake cam at -1, and we have the exhaust cam at +1. So this should be my minimum and my minimum of what we're going to run. So we're going to spin it over one last time, hopefully, and go from there. See what it looks like. Come back here. All right. Now we're going to tear it back down. And we're back with a cutaway. The intake valve is still, well, it looks like I smashed it messing with it, but it is not far enough away for my liking. So 2 is going to be my minimum. -2 on the intake is what I'm going to call my minimum. The exhaust I put at +1. Yeah, +1, and that's right at 100 thou, so that's solid right there. So +1 on the exhaust and -2 on the intake is going to be my starting point. And that's where we're going to set the cams at to start. Hopefully once we get a degree wheel in and get this thing all degreed up, it'll end up landing in that safe zone. So that's going to end it off here. Be looking out for another degreeing video. We'll give you some info on that. I'm learning with you guys, so I'm still trying to figure it out as I go. But hopefully I'm explaining it good enough that you all get a little bit of grasp of it. I appreciate you all watching and the support. Like always, like, comment, and subscribe. See you next time. Bye.